Good evening and welcome to Gana Short. Gana Short में आप सबका स्वागत है. Obviously, Xi Jinping has a problem with this general. That's why it's Xi's general problem we're going to discuss. And we're going to discuss it on as part of the Three Good General show. And this stream is going live on P-Guru's and Strategic Frontline besides Gana Short. All of you, welcome to the show. And let me get the other two good generals, General Rajiv Narayanan and General Dushyant Singh. At the outset, a very good evening. And it's a tectonic shift which is happening, with Xi Jinping and Liu Zhenli being put in the can. So, initial one-liners and then we'll let go. Rajiv.
So, my personal opinion is that the CPC has been desperately, along with the party elders, trying to arrive at a compromise formula with Xi Jinping, knowing that Xi Jinping will not be the continue as the head. And the main stumbling block they found finally is Zhang Youxia. And it was time that he had to go, because I feel that they felt that if he continues that way, CPC themselves might lose power, because the people have become very restive now. So one of the other had to go. There were talks that he had tried to remove, Zhang Youxia had tried to remove Xi Jinping. It failed, that somebody leaked it out. But it's not just him. When Hu Jintao was supporting him, he removed all his Xi Jinping supporters, that is the Fujian clique, the Zhejiang clique and the Shanxi clique from where he comes, they were all removed. Now in a similar manner, in one stroke, his entire supporters have been removed. Interesting days, let us see what happens. This doesn't mean that they have an easy solution.
No, that's out of question.
The reason that we'll discuss going, they have a big problem now in PLA and all this attacking left, right, center, both.
Even in CCP, we'll talk of it. Yeah, Dushyant, your opening thing, and then we'll get going with your assessments.
So before I give my serious comment, I was suddenly seeing the title of today's flyer. It says, Generals' Problems by Three Good Generals. So whether the three good generals are creating the problems for Xi Jinping, I don't know. But on a serious note, sir, I think what is happening is that there seems to be kind of an effort on to find a successor to a successor who is acceptable to the CCP as well as the PLA overall. Who can take the Chinese so-called stumbling economy and so many other problems which the Chinese are facing forward, retaining the China's ascendancy into the global scenario. So that being the main case, because there have been not only rumors, there have been kind of confirmed reports that Xi Jinping went through a major medical problem. Yeah, he was not there for a while, and subsequently, I think people even went on to the level saying that there were body double actually, which was being used as far as but that aside, I think this is a turmoil for a change, and in which the CCP, along with the elders which we are talking about, are possibly pulling their strings along with Xi Jinping. Earlier, I thought they were against Xi Jinping, but I think now the Xi Jinping has joined hands with these people to find a successor who would be able to stabilize the sinking ship of China. I stop here.
Yeah, fine. So all of you heard the initial things. So what we'll do is we'll first get a detailed assessment from each of us, right? I'll first General Rajiv will give it out because he's got a slide deck, and then followed by Dushyant, and then I'll give, because I have a set of points which are not against the others, but they add to what others are saying. But I'm going to focus on a few other issues which we'll go to, and these are my firmly held beliefs from a long time. So we'll start first with Rajiv. All yours. Should I put your slide on, or you wanna?
Yes. If you can put slide on, sir.
Oh, wait.
Yes, sir. I call it the PRC's entropical challenges, and it's worsening. And if you if you've read about the dragons, there is always an alpha dragon who's the boss of everybody. And the Communist Party runs exactly like that, that there is one alpha dragon. And so the struggle is there for the alpha dragon space, and it is deepening. What has happened? I'll go through just this. When I said declining Xi Jinping means health wise, his health is not good. Or just before this whole coup and other things, counter coup was taking place, there were reports that again he had to go to the hospital. He was not too well. And essentially bringing out that now he's supporting Ding Shuijiang, who was his vice premier. He's there in the Politbureau Standing Committee. Why were separated Kai Chi and Li Qiang? Post July last year, they seem to have pulled back a little from supporting Xi Jinping. Zhen Qingong is the chief of staff of Jiang. Sorry, my apologies for the spelling. Jiang Zemin. He controls the Shanghai clique. And while Zhang Youxia and Liu Zhenli have gone, what has happened to Liu Yuan? July, August, Liu Yuan was aligned with Zhang Youxia. Now, post September, he has stepped back. There is a collapse of CMC, PA, and we'll just have a look at these. Now, what are the contenders? These were the four sets of contenders who have emerged, out of which Zhang Youxia and Liu Zhenli have been removed. So that leaves you Wang Yang and Hun Chunhua, who are supported by Hu Jintao and Wen Jiabao. You have Xi Jinping wants to continue, and he wants to have Ding Shuijiang as his premier. And you have noticed, like when our PM also had gone for SCO, the meeting with Xi Jinping was short, but Tai Chi came with a message from the CPC, and he had a long meeting. And even when the July meeting was taking place, the fourth plenum, when he fell ill, the complete session was run by Tai Chi. So Tai Chi and Li Qiang are also there. Who are his supporters? Is the Chiang Zemin faction, because Zhen Qingong is there. Who's supporting whom? Now, this is where now the tussle is going to be here, or is there going to be a compromise candidate who will come out of the cold like Xi Jinping was? Bojilai was supposed to be initially, he started his own clique, he was sidelined. Li Keqiang was being promoted, and Xi Jinping came out of the blue, and he was supported by Jiang Zemin, and he became the compromise candidate. So will there be a compromise candidate? And that is the biggest issue today within the CPC, that who's going to come out of these? Then let's look at the cracks in the Politbureau Standing Committee. Where is Zhao Leji, Wang Huning and Li Ji? They are out. You don't hear about them anywhere. It is essentially, you find Xi Jinping is now taking the number 6th person, Ding Shuijiang, who's been with him. And you have Kai Chi and Li Qiang, who have pulled themselves back a little so that the fallout might be. Kai Chi has a survival because Li Qiang's wife has named Xi Jinping and Tai Chi as responsible for the murder of her husband. So he doesn't want to, maybe he doesn't want to get caught and throw Xi Jinping under the bus. What is going to happen, we really don't know. The biggest problem is the CMC. Only Jiang Shengmin is the last man standing. He is no operations general. He's been a political commissar all through. He was last political commissar in the rocket force. And now he heads that anti-corruption thing in CMC. Discipline and inspection. And only last October, in lieu of He Weidong, he was promoted as the vice chairman. Nobody left. And there are 17 more generals who have been purged out of the balance close to 4,000 who have been removed, 17 more generals. How are they going to fight? Who's planning? Who's working? The person whom they have removed, Liu Zhengli, he's the head of the Joint Staff Department. You can say he's the CGS. There's nobody. Theatre commanders are missing. Even Air Force people are out. The Air Force chiefs have also been removed. So how are you going to fight? It is nice for South China Morning Post or Global Times and the Americans to say, ho, 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 he's attacking Taiwan 26, he's attacking Taiwan 20. How are they going to attack? वो जनरली नहीं है किससे कौन प्लान करके लड़ाई लड़ेगा, किसी को लाए भी नहीं हो. जो डिफेंस मिनिस्टर को लेके आए थे डोंग जून, he is also been purged. There is no defense minister also who controls all the globalization and movement and all this trans-regional movement and all. He controls with the states. He is also not there. So there is a power struggle that is eating itself from within. The CMC and PLA to kachra ho gaya. There is nobody left on top. Now the CPC is going through, and are these three groups going to be with themselves? Will they arrive at a compromise? What is going to happen? Why did Zhang Youxia have to go? Because he was adamant that I will be the chairman of the CMC, whoever comes. Whereas the party constitution says that the chairman of the party is the chairman of the CMC. So I think the others got together and gave the green light for others. Like earlier also we have spoken, just because Zhang Youxia had started taking control doesn't mean that he has full control of the PLA. There are factions within the PLA, like there are factions within the CPC. So the other factions have been spoken to, and 100% the combined arms brigade of the 81st Army Group, which had come in for the defense of Zhongnan Hai, has shifted loyalty from Zhang Youxia to the CPC, and they have struck. Now, has Liu Yuan played it smart? Seeing the way Zhang Youxia was adamant that he has pulled himself back. Now, he is one man who has both political and military experience. Till the Tiananmen Square, he was all into politics in the provincial. He was part of the CPC, and provincially he was doing very well. The error he did was he sided with the students. And after all, he's the son of Liu Shaoqi. So his mother did the deal with Chiang Zemin, and he in 92 entered the PLA in the rank of a major general straight as a political commissar. And then, of course, 2015, he retired. Initially, he was with Xi Jinping, and then he retired. So has he played it smart? Now, what is happening is coming at a very, very inopportune time for PRC. Their economy is collapsing. There are geopolitical struggles going on everywhere, where he is feeling more and more isolated. Their military industrial complex is coming under lens, non-performing equipment. People are also not performing. And there is a very restive and angry populace. There are no answers. And this is the time when all this is going on. Can the CPC last? Will the PLA fragment like the CPC? What is going to happen? So the question today is not if, it is when the CPC and PLA collapse. Where is China going? Will you have autocracy or will you have democracy? If you're having anything when you collapse, every time the empires have collapsed, their old empires, the boundaries have shrunk. And then the new boundaries have come. Even till today, we really don't know who's going to come as the leader. So within which boundaries? And last, with Gen Shankar has also been talking a lot. Dreams die first. I'm referring to their China dream. Dreams die first.
China dream, yeah. That's at stake, yeah.
Now, way ahead for India. You have got to be careful that you don't soar your dream. Don't sour your dream. So you have to be prepared when they are falling. He is going to hit out at who? You. So you got to be prepared for emerging internal challenges that a declining dragon will throw at you. Could be along the LAC also. He will 100% join hands with the US, Pak, and I call East Pakistan 2.0 in this design. Would it be internal challenges only? Would there be something along LOC? So we need to work towards. It's nice to say we have an internal security grid. I think it's time to have it AI infused, so that you get near real time information every place, and plus modernization and capability development of the security forces you cannot do away with. You have to contend with the internal and external multi-domain challenges. If you look only at economy, you miss the bus. This has also to go parallel. And signing trade deals is not enough. You've got to actualize those with EU, with others. Sorry for the spelling again. Get better rules and regulations, not just for industrial and economic growth, for pollution control and environment protection. I give you the example of Delhi. Fine. Last year you said, oh, ho, ho, you had Diwali, so much went, crackers, this, that, AQI, stubble burning. Stubble burning is over. Why is the AQI still bad? Yeah, the stubble burning may have increased that, but your AQI is bad because you have very poor pollution control and environment protection. You went after the Yamuna and now you say, okay, Yamuna is clean. That means what is the refuse which was coming out, the sludge which was coming out, you're treating. What about the air? What is coming out of the chimney stacks? Who's going to control that? That is what is adding to the AQI. So this coming decade is going to be critical for you for Viksit Bharat. It is in your hands. How you go about it, how you do it. Right? And so that is why where I end, I say Jai Bharatam. It is for us. It is in our hands what you do. Be very careful. Be very happy that he is declining. He will throw challenge. Curveballs will come your way.
Yeah. So I think that's a very fair assessment which General Rajiv Narayanan has given. I'd like General Dushyant, your assessment. Unmute your mic and carry on.
Thank you for telling me, sir. I have to unmute my mic because I would have started without that, sir. Well, sir, in general, I totally agree with what General Rajiv Narayanan is saying. China is not only on decline, but I think it's in the downfall mode. Because when you club all these things, internal political upheaval, PLA getting absolutely purged in every direction, the Air Force, Army, Navy, and add to that the economic troubles which are there. I think if you club something, if you calculate the national power of comprehensive national power of a country, it is surely coming down. Whatever projections they are doing of 5% growth, etc. That aside, the real effective power, and that's one of the reasons why they are not able to actually project their power when their friends are in problem, wherever they are. But that having said, I have a slight difference as far as the power struggle goes. In my opinion, I feel at this stage there is an effort on to find a Rajkumar, right? Who will be that Rajkumar or who will be that prince? Whether it is going to be from the princelings or whether it is going to be from the party hierarchy rising up through the chain, that is something which is very difficult to predict given the way people are cutting each other. I mean, Zhang was supposed to have been kind of the purifier, doing everything right for the party a few months back, and suddenly you hear, oh, Zhang is now under arrest, or the whole family has been arrested. So I think things are very, very flexible and very, very fluid. But what it indicates to me is that possibly Xi Jinping is in control. Now, that is something which is different from what General Rajiv Narayanan has said. Now, it could be looked up the other way around also, but the second issue which is there is he wants to centralize everything. We said that, okay, CMC is gone, finished. CMC is gone, fine. There is only one chap standing with him, and that is Senmin
Zhang
Yeah,
Zhenmin.
Zhang
Zhang
Zinmin.
Zhenmin.
Yeah. Now this fellow is supposed to be a incorruptible kind of an image, political commissar, etc., etc. But whether we get to know whether he's actually incorruptible, maybe after 1 month of the life. But as of now, he enjoys an image of an incorruptible man. Maybe he is standing with the Xi Jinping in an effort to centralize everything. If there is no one in the CMC, there is no one to say no to what Xi Jinping is going to say as far as the PLA is concerned. So there he rules, and since this guy is wearing all the three hats, General Secretary, he's the General Secretary also, he's the Chairman CMC also, and he's the President also. So all these three combined together, I think he is going through a phase where he wants everything under his control, maybe even sideline the elders, because if in the CPC or the standing committee, if in the standing committee he's able to, I only hope he doesn't start the drill what he's been doing in CMC in the CPC, because because that's very much a possibility, and we should not take it lightly given the fact the way he has been behaving. So I see a danger of a dictator now coming out in full form in the times to come. If it doesn't happen, good, but if it does happen, we have to be prepared for that. Now, second thing which I feel, in addition to all that purging, etc., I also feel there could be a possibility of, although people are saying no whenever I'm suggesting this thing, that there could be a post Mao kind of a, what happened during when Mao was fading out. At that point in time, there were a lot of violent groupings which came up and which tried to take power into their hands. If that happened, that for India would be the best situation if you're looking at an opportunity. So if we see groups trying to struggle for power more intensely, and the PLA somehow also gets involved into it. As of now, it doesn't seem, because he has chopped off all the top. Even the theater commanders have been purged. Not only the top lot, theater commanders also. So people who were capable of taking decisions have been removed. Their number twos have possibly come in, and number twos can be easily dictated by Xi Jinping through that one adjutant of his, which is Senmen. And so therefore, in my opinion, this kind of a thing, if it happens with a fight amongst various groups, which we have just been talking, that will give India a tremendous opportunity for its internal strengthening. B, it will give it a window of a slightly less friction growth. What we have been talking, that China grew when there was no headwinds. Like, as far as India is concerned, we are only facing headwinds. So maybe there would be a slowdown in one headwind, that is China. So therefore, if there is an internal struggle like the post Mao era, in my opinion, that would be good for India. But the danger is, again, I'm going to highlight, when a situation like this happens. Suppose C starts getting the hit, then there is a very high chance of external diversion. Now, that external diversion, whether it will come along our northern border, whether it will come along in the South China Sea, or whether it will be in Taiwan, these are the three areas also which we need to worry, or through our proxies, which is Bangladesh, Nepal, and Pakistan, of course, is there. So you're calling it as Pakistan 2.0. All that combined, that is also a very much possibility. In that case, we need to be prepared for such a eventuality. So therefore, we cannot let our guard down as far as the defense preparedness is concerned, our military capability is concerned. That window which we will get must be used parallelly for both economy as well as military preparedness. So that would be my third point as far as this discussion goes. And as far as the other opportunities for India is concerned, in my view, let's start focusing on pressure points on China. What are these pressure points? Today we are saying that okay, Quad is kind of gone, but a move by the government of India, TIGA, I think that's the name which has been given, pivot to ASEAN, with manufacturing shifting to ASEAN, and the skill set required by ASEAN being provided by India. If that happens, then another additional pressure point would come onto China. And if we do the, although we are very shy of calling that it is not a security arrangement, etc. But why not call yourself as call it as security arrangement? If your opponent is doing something against you, you might as well do it. You have the right to project power also. So Quad should start being pushed up as far as India is concerned into a more comprehensive arrangement, and shift the focus somehow from West Asia to this, because real pressure on China will come if we have something going in the IOR Indo-Pacific region. So these are the big points which I have, and I think overall, if I have to guess, then India is going to see an opportunity here, and this is the time for us to exploit that opportunity. Thank you. I'll stop here.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Let me put across my points of view. I think what both the generals have said are completely, I endorse it 100%. But I'm going to say something complementary to what they've said. It just adds on. First, I agree with both of them. At this point of time, the complete PLA is operationally defunct. There's no operational guy. I mean, if you tomorrow you just think if the three chiefs and the CDS are out, full plan, if the Operation Sindoor kind of a thing comes, till that balance is restored, I don't think there's any external diversion possible or whatever. And how it happens, we'll see, but it's a very imbalanced force and it's more prone to internal collapse than external diversion. This is my assessment. I might be wrong. Right. The next thing is succession in PRC has always been a problem. Whether it's from Mao to Deng Xiaoping to Hu Jintao to Jiang Zemin, and all this. So that is on the card, especially because Xi Jinping doesn't have a successor. And the reason, every time in the CPC structure, the CCP structure, whenever they have nominated a successor, power starts gravitating towards him. When power starts gravitating towards him, the guy on the top kills the successor. This has happened. This has happened during Mao's time. It has happened with Deng Xiaoping. It has happened with Jiang Zemin. So there's no question of a successor. If there's no successor, whatever guys which Rajiv Narayanan has said, you don't know, a chap can come out from anywhere outside. We don't know, right? We don't know really. Actually, this is the nature of the crab system in PRC. I go with what he says, but we don't know still. Okay. The next thing is all these guys who have been sacked in the CMC are hand-picked guys of Xi Jinping. They were all picked in the last, party congress, 20th Party Congress in October 22, including the ones in CPC. That is the politbureau standing committee, handpicked. These 13 chaps were handpicked. Out of that, complete CMC has been sacked. It tells you something. His lack of knowledge about the armed forces. And he's got a very sure footing politically. Right? So this is the thing which we have to understand and think that, look, China has not become weak. It's imbalanced. Imbalance is the way I'll put it. Okay. Now I'll go over a few issues which I had put across, which I thought I must think. 3 months back, Kexin, which is their economic daily, had come out with a list of guys with their photos, generals who were sacked. That's interesting. And add another 30 odd to them. And as of now, 18 full generals, 30 lieutenant generals, and more than 50, maybe it's about 60 major generals have been sacked in the past 10 years in Xi Jinping's routine. But more than half of them are in the last 3 years from October 22. Okay, this indicates the depth at which things are happening. It's all called corruption, but at the end of the day, it's not corruption. It is lack of trust between PLA and this thing. Now, this is a list of guys, defense minister, CMC members, vice chairman, CMC, PLA, RF, all these guys have been sacked, if you see. And their current defense minister, Dong Yuan, he's not even part of the CMC. He's been the minister for the past 1 year. So there's some fundamental flaw in this whole story. Okay. And this is something which Rajiv and I had spoken of once, 2 years back. He called all the commanders in the PLA to a place, which he called them once when he started his thing and told them, look, there's going to be a civil war. You need political loyalty, yay, wo. And he took a photograph at that point of time. That was the time this chap, Dong, defense minister, was missing. Now, and everyone on the right and left of Xi Jinping have been sacked in this. Okay, so there is this problem between the PLA and the CPC and Xi Jinping is not new. It's building up. I mean, today it's the height. Okay, let me get to the next one. Look, we have to understand something about the political setup and everything. The relationship between PLA and CCP is umbilical. Please understand this. That's why I put the points. Now, the PRC is based on a CCP constitution. It's not like the Constitution of India or of Republic of India or America or the Magna Carta. It is a CCP constitution and PLA is its protector. It's a fragile system, unlike a democracy. Even a monarchy is better. At least in a monarchy, I know my son will become, if I'm the monarch, my son will become the next guy. There's a line of succession, not here. Constitutionally, everything is by the thing. So tomorrow, if the CCP breaks, there's no constitution for China. Please understand this, the depth of chaos which is going to happen. And this can happen. The PLA is the gun to control the party, interestingly. Right? It is also the one to protect the party from the people. This is the funny thing about the PLA. Mao did it. Mao controlled the gun by purging the gun. Mao controlled the party by, using the PLA to purge. Same thing Deng Xiaoping also did. So there is this funny relationship. And today you are seeing the purge of the PLA. And it has never been, and that limits China. Okay. There's only one precedent to what has happened today. That was with Lin Biao, 1971. Lin Biao was almost the successor to Mao. He also attempted to take over and kill Mao. It was found out, and he took a plane and went off in Mongolia somewhere. His plane crashed. End of story. 71. This was towards towards Mao's later days in life. And Lin Biao was the CMC member. No, he was the chairman or vice chairman. Mao was the chairman, right? Same thing is happening now. Okay, right. Xi's consolidation, like what General Dushyant said, is complete. He is in complete control. Who will succeed is later there. But at this point of time, he is in control, no successor. And a power struggle is coming. In fact, it has already started. And power struggles in China span 5 to 10 years. Okay. Also remember, this incident has happened when US military is on a rampage. Okay. And PLA is incapable of defending its interests, or it remains transfixed. You've seen what's happened. When Midnight Hammer took place in Iran, PLA could do nothing. Right now also, what is USA doing all over? Venezuela, Iran, Greenland, Yeland, Woland, and PLA seems to be doing nothing. So you see the problem in which PLA is. It's nice to say they'll go attack Taiwan, they'll come to Himalayas, but I don't think they have the capability to do so. Right? And we need to be clear about it. Anything can happen. They can always externalize, and all that. We should be prepared for it. That's a given. But a good assessment will tell you that there is a huge vulnerability today in China. I'm more interested in the vulnerability because this vulnerability opens up opportunities. Right? We have to think proactively and this. Look, it's my firm belief, and I'm right here. Okay. And that's there in their books. The real strength or weakness of China lies in its politics. If you want to understand China, look at its politics, not manufacturing, not AI, high-tech, export, all this is nonsense. And today its politics is in a big problem, as Rajiv explained. I mean, just think the two major organs of the Communist Party and the rule CMC is finished. There's only one guy left standing, and he's the Xi Jinping's Pisu, and the other one is completely with him. And the politics of this is off completely. So China is at its weakest ever since I've known it. I mean, I've started studying it. The next thing, you're going to compound this whole story going forward. Look, the thing which has happened, but how do you see it further? Which both the generals have said, its population is declining. This decline is a combination of aging, lack of workforce, and no births. And this is declining at the fastest rate in human history. It's a collapse which we cannot imagine. And this is irreversible. And I always keep making this point. Nations are made of people, not buildings, not lights. And because people play politics, robots don't play politics. Rule is all about people. That's why they call it the People's Republic of China. Right. The next thing we have to understand is societal problems have forced China to be a one-pony trick, export-oriented economy. If tomorrow this export stop, China will collapse. And it has got a large footprint which it cannot guard. And with this kind of a command setup and operational defensiveness, it cannot do anything. These are facts. Okay. This is I would say a fair assessment of this whole story. There's a big problem of loyalty within the PLA and CCP and the CCP. Right. We also know the PLA is poorly equipped and training is bad, which has been touched upon. Economy in decline. And very interestingly, the traditional economy, which is in decline, it outweighs by weight the new tech. People talk of exports, EV, solar and all. The last thing I did mention, that the property and the infrastructure, that traditional economy still outweighs, and that is hemorrhaging. And of course, consumption is just not there because of the decline of all things. I'm not going into this. This is a very interesting graph I got. This is the growth pattern under Mao Zedong, Deng Xiaoping, Jiang Zemin, and Hu Jintao and Xi Jinping. If you see, barring the Cultural Revolution in the 60s when its growth was around 2%, in all other times, growth under Xi Jinping has been the worst. This has been the time when Xi Jinping, China has been rising. We say China rising, it grew, yay, whoa. For the past 10 years, it's not grown the way it is. It's just grown on what it had done earlier. As a result, the social contract between the people and the party is fraying, right? And this is what even Rajiv Narayanan had said, that people are restive at the bottom. Already, the Xi Jinping has changed this contract. It is no more that, I'll give you prosperity and you give me your, freedoms. It's not that. The story today is I'll give you security and you give me your freedoms. Prosperity is out of the window. Now, how long will it last? Because the lifestyle of the normal Chinese is going from bad to worse. Okay. And there's no doubt in my mind that China is at a place. In fact, General Rajiv Narayanan and I did 2 years back, slow collapse of China. Right? Slow collapse of China. And that slow collapse of China is manifesting itself today. Okay? So I don't see a reversal from this. Politics is going to take it further down because the real story of Chinese thing is politics. And what has happened in this fellow's sacking is only an indicator. It's only an indicator. This is not the finish point or the start point. Okay? It's only an indicator of what things are happening. Because whatever is happening today was foretold 2 months back in some other form. Things are happening. With each guy who's been going away from the CPC, we are able to predict the next guy. Who are the next guy who's going to come into the CMC? Will he come? Because in the past 5 years, not a single guy has been nominated into the Central Military Commission. If that doesn't happen, where is the PLA going? So what about its modernization timelines and all that we glibly keep talking? Okay, you combine that with an economy which is hemorrhaging. You combine with Mr. Trump for the next 3 years, Trump will do what he has to do. Whether he wins the midterms or not, he's going to be aggressive. Okay, a lot of people have put money into Greenland. He will go into Greenland. He's already amassed 2 aircraft carrier groups around Iran. Something will happen there. If Iran goes, the global footprint of China goes even worse. In which case, what does China do? Okay, so there are issues in this whole story, and I completely agree with both the generals when they say, look, we have to take care. An interesting point which I think Rajiv said, and I did a program on that today morning. Our problem is not going to come from China directly. Our problem is going to come from Bangladesh and Pakistan, indirect. And that is going to come at the already USA is at it. Let's be clear. Whatever is happening in Pakistan against India, whatever is happening in Bangladesh against India is to USA. China is just waiting in the wings because Pakistan will enable China to come in any case. So that is our danger. And we need to look, from my side, internally, of course, you look at these 2 wings of ours. You do something to them, the effect will be felt elsewhere. Right? I thought I'll put all these issues across. I'd hand you back to General Rajiv. Your thoughts now, after all this, where do you think this whole story is going to go in China in your foreseeable future? How do you think this story is going to evolve? Because that, to me, is the critical thing in this whole story. Yeah.
So,
Rajiv.
Firstly, I entirely agree with you. What you are seeing are the symptoms. The cause runs much deeper. What is happening are the symptoms. The cause runs much deeper. And the main thing is still today, like when we look at the history of China, where the disruptions take place, when one dynasty goes and the new dynasty comes, somebody has to throw the hat in the ring. Today we talk of power struggle within PLA, within CPC.
Ooh.
Nobody has thrown the hat in the ring. Now that is even more damaging to China. One way or the other is my reading. If Xi Jinping throws his hats in the ring and says, I am in control, I am the boss, fine. At least there will be somebody whom the people can go back to and say, I have this problem, now sort it out for me. Today, when you're fighting yourself, amongst yourself, with nobody in sight that who will take this country forward, at a time when we have touched on all the internal problems that they have, it is only going to worsen the problem. It is like you have a cancer and you don't go for chemotherapy and radiotherapy. It's only going to eat you up from inside. And that is the problem I find China is facing today. And let us be clear, their MSS have footprints in all these places, and the MSS is not going to keep quiet. While they are fighting, they also know that they have to keep outsiders at bay. They have not forgotten their 100 years humiliation. So that is why I had said the internal security challenges are going to be maximum. So I'll stop here. I'll hand it.
Yeah. Dushyant, your view.
You have to
unmute, please. You have to unmute.
But as far as I feel, I think this is clearing the road with a bulldozer for 2027 Congress. That's point number 1, as far as prognosis goes. Point number 2 is about throwing throwing the ring in the court. In my opinion, Xi Jinping has already done that. The way he is centralizing the power within himself, and in my opinion, possibly the CPC will be the next lot of people who will start seeing the door very soon, because CMC is now void. CMC is now finished. There is no CMC and there is no induction, which is likely to take place. The thing which I feel, which is my opinion, I may be wrong in that, is that the Chinese progress as far as outside world is concerned, uh, they are going to still play the non-kinetic route. I don't think they're going to be kinetic anywhere. MSS, yes, MSS will take, I mean, put its finger in the various countries, but will they go beyond to the level of putting a kinetic footprint? I doubt. Yes, there will be non-kinetic action which they'll continue to do. So that would be that would be something which is the window which India might get. So India should take advantage of this opportunity of a window being provided for our own growth and development. But I have said this should be a parallel growth. This cannot be a unilateral growth. It has to be parallel, along, balanced, so that you are not again taken by surprise. There we were focusing only on economy, and then we get drummed somewhere else. Long-term threat of China remains of kinetic. That's my last prognosis. Long-term threat. That is in case if China, after 4 to 5 years or 6 years, whatever time they take to get over this power struggle, which is likely to ensue, not in the immediate future, but in my opinion, 27th Congress, by the time we reach that point, there would be some power struggles visible also. Currently, they are behind the, behind the curtains. So not many people are able to judge it. But by 2027, I think the struggle will start becoming violent. Another give 5 6 years for the situation to stabilize. 8 years or 9 years of a good window for India is what I feel would be the prognosis. And I'll end here. Sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I thought that fair. The interesting thing is that for the
I'll just
yeah,
add one point, sir. There's a lot of chatter I'm hearing of moving forward the 21st Congress to this year
Oh,
maybe
from 27. That is one
possible.
maybe
chatter which is going.
It's again, it's again,
I don't.
it is again showing the insecurity of Xi Jinping, and
insecurity of this.
he's trying to get control of everybody, by the time, so that he's fit for another 5 years, and whatever way you want to look at it.
Yeah, I completely agree with this thing. So what is coming out is whatever has happened with Zhang Youxia is indicative of great instability in China and the political fragility of China. At this point of time, China is politically fragile. Let's not have any doubts about it. If Xi Jinping is going to consolidate and continue for, say, 5, 10 years, despite his health problems, everything, the collapse will continue the way it
Yes,
is. It's not going to stop.
yes,
It's not going to stop because you've seen the performance of the, ever since Mao Zedong to now, where China is, and China is going to do even worse as you go ahead because their societal problems are going to compound. Okay. But if in this process Xi Jinping one day goes, for whatever reason, out of just he just drops dead or he's eased out or everything, you might find China going into a chaos. And that chaos is something which you have to, it's an opportunity and a threat for us when that happens. And this is historic. You look at the time of Jiang Zemin, no, not Jiang Zemin. You look at the time when Mao died one fine day, and the Gang of Four coming. It took 4 to 5 years for this transition to happen.
that
And Deng Xiaoping ordered a transition from himself to Jiang Zemin and Jiang Zemin to Hu Jintao through some rules and regulations, which Xi Jinping has broken completely. So you're back to that Mao time. So expect this problem happening. And that can start anytime without a warning. The second thing, which we have not spoken, is Tibet. Dalai Lama. I don't know when His Holiness will go, but I wish he doesn't go. But eventually he has to one day. When that happens, and if this coincides with that, it opens up a box, which I don't know if to call it a Pandora's box or a box of opportunity. I don't know. Because it depends on how India reacts. Okay. Of course, I will reiterate, I think we need to continue to grow the way we are. We can't control what's happening in China, right? We can handle China, but we can't control it. Similarly, we can't control what's happening in USA because he's on a high. Okay. But what we can control is what's happening in our neighborhood. Pakistan and Bangladesh. For example, there is news today of some soft coup happening and things like that. And Bangladesh is now going through elections. It's just not an election; it is also a referendum, and that referendum is being driven by the party which is, by the government in power, which is illegal. And that referendum is to change the constitution. So this is a complicated situation which is emerging in Bangladesh, and that is being supported fully by USA. Right, and Pakistan and China are waiting in the wings to take this whole story forward because one day USA will lose interest in it, and after that they will step in. So we have to do what we have to do within. If our stories are
I said they are like scavengers.
Scavengers, yeah,
Wait,
they're waiting.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that happens, we have to take our, own story in our own hands and do what we have to do. And of course, one thing, whatever happens, it doesn't happen. We are looking at a period from henceforth where, irrespective of what happens in China, irrespective of what happens in USA, you need to forge your path ahead. And for that, the government is doing the right thing. EU is going to come and sign an FTA. You signed an FTA with UK. You signed an FTA with Australia, New Zealand, UAE, right? All that. So I think we are on the right thing. And like what someone had said earlier also, we need to actualize this FTS. It's not just that, sign a FTA and uske baad baithe raho. You need to do internal reforms. And the issue of pollution with General Rajiv Narayanan said, very important. Growth with pollution is not worth it. You might as well clean yourself and not have any growth. Right? That's a healthy growth. That's a healthy stasis, if I might say. So all these issues are there, right? I think we've had a very productive discussion and where this whole thing is to go forward. If you're okay, I'll take a few questions.
Sure.
Rajiv, anything else? And
No, nothing, sir.
Yeah. I'll take a few questions which are very interesting and not all. Okay. Yeah, this is a very thing, sir. You highlighted about the slow collapse of China. But isn't it the same we have been expecting from our Western neighbor since 1947, leaving 1971 slice? It is still functioning on a ventilator since then. Your views on this, Rajiv?
There is somebody who's giving him the ventilator, no? And especially they got into the ventilator from the 90s onwards. The turning point was that Ziaul Haq, who shifted into radicalization as the policy. Before that, by the way, in most of the metrics, they were doing better than us.
They were better than us.
The collapse has started from then. And because they have used, so US and others have been giving it the ventilator to let it hang. And of course, the Arab countries once in a while give them something to be able to survive. That's the ventilator they have. Is anybody? So that's the whole issue. Will somebody give a ventilator to China? I don't think China will go down that badly. Whenever somebody else comes, let us see what tack they take.
Yeah, I think that's a very important thing which General Rajiv Narayanan said. China will not go down that badly. It's not going to collapse and run away. It's still 1 million people. Okay. So it's still got an economy going. It's still got some strength going. So it will continue. So let's not think that China will just vanish away from the blue. Same thing with Pakistan. Pakistan has got 250 million people. Where will they go? They'll only be there. Same thing with Bangladesh. 150 million people. Where will they go? आकार बदल जाएगा, इनका रहने सहने का तौर तरीके बदल जाएंगे, but these problems will continue in some other form. There's no solution to it. Yeah.
They're being kept on the ventilator to create problems for us. Let's be very clear.
Let's be very clear. Yeah. Have people of China become immune to economic, political, and military upheavals and carrying on with life, combating inflation, etc.? Dushi.
I don't think so. You're not getting the news out from China. That's the one of the biggest problems. If you interact with, let's say, people from Taiwan, they will tell you exactly, because they go across quite often. They have relatives, etc., on the Chinese coast, in China as well. So when we interact with them, the people are very, very dissatisfied, especially if you see the countryside. The living conditions, etc., on the countryside of China is very, really very bad. Whether they have accepted it or not, that's, the Tiananmen Square image still looms very, very large, especially because people have not as yet died of that era. So that caution has always been there. Maybe another year, few years down the line, these restive upheavals will become a little more pronounced, a little more. And the second thing is that the footprint of the deep state, of the great country, are not very effective there. So then that will take some time to actually materialize what you are expecting. So China will remain. China is not blessed with good geography, but it is blessed with a good civilizational people. So therefore, it is going to survive, like what John Shankar and John Rajiv Narayanan have said. It has tremendous strength inside it. So don't take it lightly. Yes, things are going bad. So everyone faces headwinds. Yeah, they are also facing the headwinds. I'll
Yeah.
stop here.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Karandeep, for joining in as a YouTube member. I'd like to thank Optimism Beats Pessimism for your contribution, but you've given a lot of things, believe it or not, world teacher, physical body, huge cover up, UFOs too, all that. You are not right, but what's your fundamental message we have not been able to get, but thank you all the same. Should we hire some unknown men in Africa and Central Asia, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, to destroy China's projects and investments? What was 2016 Russia gate exactly? Yeah, Dushi, your view on this?
He has assumed that unknown men are from India.
And,
I leave it at that. I leave it at that. I leave it at
yeah,
that.
I don't think that's the way to go forward on all these things, right? Okay. Uh, do you think Iran is capable of making dirty bombs, American assets moving towards Iran targets, expanding?
Possible.
Will Iran use nukes? Yeah, Rajiv, your views?
They have dirty bomb. They can easily make. See, it's a. I would say people really don't know. What we know of, what information came out, whether it's true or not, we don't know. But sizable amount, people have said 450 tons of enriched uranium. They had moved it out before the midnight strikes.
Yes.
Now, how much of it they had done? The recorded version, official says 70%. When you cross 50%, it doesn't take much time to get you to enrich uranium of weapon grade. Even if it is not weapon grade, dirty bomb to bani jayega yaar. Where is the
तो
problem?
60% से हो जाता है 60% is
Oh,
what you get
dirty
and they
bomb is
have
a
that.
dirty bomb. That is why we call it the nuclear, biological, chemical, and radiation threat. That
CBRN.
radiation threat is NBCR. The R is the dirty bomb. So you never know.
Okay. So I visited Tiananmen Square often. It's still taboo to talk about it there. Thanks a lot for that information. Dushi, how big a threat is the current situation in Bangladesh to India?
In my opinion, Bangladesh is now going to be the next proxy which we have to deal with. So we have to be prepared for a proxy war being played via Pakistan and China combined, with the US, becoming the kind of a backdoor entity which will fuel this kind of a war, because so nobody wants India to be seen as progressing the way they are progressing. If you see the graph which was projected by IMF, the highest growth rate is of India. Next is China, which is suspect. Third is the world. That means the world's combined growth has gone behind India. So therefore, by logical conclusion, despite what Gita Gopinath said, by logical conclusion, we would be crossing and we would be actually galloping to catch up with China. So therefore, there are efforts on to pull India down. We should be serious about that.
The last question I'll take is China foresees the future and you people are mocking at them while you are not even self reliant on anything. Though his name is Karthik, obviously he's not an Indian. He's this thing. So Rajiv, I think you need to give him a repost back.
Did China foresee this future of the power struggle within the PLA and CPC? Did they foresee their reality sector will collapse? The Chinese themselves are talking today. I was reading of a 52 trillion balance of payment where they're having a problem in reality sector. 52 trillion US dollars. That's not a joke. How many times more? Even if you give their stated as 18, it's almost 3 times their GDP. Handsome. Where you have. So what foreseeing of future are you talking? I doubt whether they see beyond their noses today because they have such a deep power struggle. But the person does not know whether he will be alive tomorrow or not.
Yeah.
When you say purge, matlab they go, is gone. And after 3 years, you won't even know whether Zhang Youxia and all these generals are alive or not. Where are they? So when you're looking over your shoulder that next I'll be going along with my family, what do you think that they are looking at future? They are all going forward today looking at the rear view mirror. And you can't progress when you're looking at the rear view mirror. We have made
and the rear view mirror, no babies there.
There is a beautiful comment to retort to the Karthik guy. It says he may be having a general of the day arrangement. you see, and it tells everything about Chinese forethought.
Yeah, this is the one, isn't it? G may have general of the day arrangement, a new general every day, so no general can establish and threaten Z and OTP verification. Z for all.
People are becoming original and creative.
Actually, he's right.
But on a serious note, imagine all theater commanders wiped out, all the service chiefs wiped out. Their number twos are coming up. Obviously, that's a system in military. Number twos are coming up.
No, number twos are also wiped out.
No, I'm just saying
the political commissars are going out.
What I'm saying is that this, what you call chain of succession is just going up, making their preparedness for leadership. Because ultimately, battles are not decided by technology. Battles are not decided by your strength, calculated strength, or firepower index. Battles are decided by leaders. And if you start troubling your leaders, if you start not having faith in your leaders, your military is gone, my friend. It's gone out of the window. No country in the world generally sacks so many people the way they have sacked.
The situation today would be, sir, that if you take our structure, that there is no CDS also, maybe one person in the CDS headquarters is surviving, and you take all the service chiefs and all your army commanders and Air Force commanders and naval commanders have all been sacked, along with their number two chiefs of staff. Now tell me who's going to fight whom?
Yeah.
Just think about that. CDS is also not there. There is no Raksha Mantri also.
AI and data fusion.
There is no Raksha Mantri also. Nobody.
Absolutely.
A member of the parliament has been told that you will look after the defense and he's not been made a minister. Just imagine that situation. That is the situation today in China.
Look,
it's scary.
It's scary actually. In our system, if one general goes under inquiry or gets sacked, if he gets sacked, it's huge. If he goes under inquiry, it hits the front pages.
Yeah.
Okay, and that becomes a scandal, whether it's for Air Force, Navy, or whoever. And that scandal lasts for 2 weeks in India. Okay, every guy will have an opinion on that. Here, it is one a month, one a day. General of the day is taken off. Okay, so it is. Okay, I'll finish off. I think we've had a terrific discussion. With this compliment, there's so much secrecy about Chinese affairs, it's difficult to understand. Turns out all you generals were correct in assessing China. Yeah, and I must say that we've studied China. So you must understand, when people like us talk, it is not based on whims and fancies. It is based on study. And study about what China does from their point of view, not our point of view. We study China through Mandarin, even if you have to use Google Translate, right? So thanks a lot to everyone who's attended. Also, thanks a lot to Rajiv and Dushyant for putting things so succinctly today. And I thought it was a very crisp and a focused discussion. And till the next time, have a great day. Jai Hind to all of you and Namaskar.
Thank you,
Namaskar.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.